Today's video is sponsored by findbytool.com. So a company called Find By Tool, I had never heard of them either, contacted me and wanted to sponsor a video. Initially, they wanted to send me a helical cutter head for a planer. I told them my planer already has a helix cutter head in it, and I have a small two-car garage shop. I really don't have the room to buy another planer to test out their cutter head. They said no problem. They told me to go to the website, take a look around, and let them know if there was anything on their website that I would be interested in trying out. Well, it turns out they have a pretty nice website with lots of stuff on there that I would love to try out, but a couple of the different clamping options caught my eye. I let them know, and they said, great, we'll send them over. So I sent them my address and said thank you, but I made it very clear to them that any evaluation or information I give out on their products will be honest and my own opinion, and I'm not going to be influenced by getting any of this stuff for free. And they responded that that was perfect, that an honest evaluation is just what they wanted, and they'll send me the stuff. They wanted me to use it for a few weeks, put it through its paces, and then do a video on it. So I've had the clamps for a few weeks now. I've been using them in various situations, and they also threw in a table saw blade that I haven't opened yet, but we're going to test that out today. All right, so let's get to it and check out these tools from findbytool.com. So this is the blade they sent me. As you can see, it's a pretty standard general purpose type blade. It's a 10-inch blade with a 5/8 arbor. It has 40 carbide tipped teeth, and the carbide tips are ground with an alternating bevel, which gives you a nice clean cut. You probably can't see because of the dark color of the blade, but it has laser cuts in it for anti-vibration, heat dissipation, reducing noise of the blade, all that kind of thing. All that stuff is pretty standard on modern saw blades. It also has a non-stick coating on it to protect the blade and to give it longer life. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this blade on the table saw, give it a spin, cut some wood, see how it does. So we'll get this out of the way and put on the blade from Find By Tool. And especially with these thin kerf blades, I always run a blade stabilizer on them. It just goes on the back side here. I'm not going to put the stabilizer on this blade. I'm going to see how it runs just on its own. It is a thicker kerf than the other blade, and the actual blade itself is a little thicker also. The black and red color scheme kind of matches my Laguna table saw. That's kind of cool. All right, I have a selection of woods here. I have an old cedar fence picket. I have some walnut, mahogany, hard maple, and a piece of Baltic birch plywood. We'll see how it handles the veneer on this. And I'll just use some cross cuts and see how clean it is. So that's just what I would expect from any good quality saw blade, especially one that was brand new. It had low vibration and made nice, smooth, clean cuts. So I would give that table saw blade from Find By Tool a thumbs up. All right, so they make a nice saw blade. Let me show you these clamps they sent me. So when I was looking around the Find By Tool website, these are the clamps that first caught my eye because I've been wanting clamps like this for a while. So they're similar to these micro jig match fit dovetail clamps, but they tighten up with this ratchet system. What I like about these is they're really quick and easy to use. You just put them on wherever you want to use it, push it like that, and then you just crank it over a couple times, and that's clamped on there really tight. Then to release it, you just hit this trigger, and it loosens and comes right off. And since I just compared these to the micro jig clamps, I thought I should point out that this piece here, the dovetailed piece of the clamp on this one is larger than the micro jig. So on something like my Jessam doweling workstation here, the micro jig clamps fit these dovetails really nice. These clamps are too large for this, so they don't fit. So you can do this. Not exactly difficult, but in certain situations, it can get a little annoying. Or you can just do this. much easier and more convenient. They also work great if you want to clamp something to the edge of a workbench. And these are really quick and easy to use with an MFT table. So that's just a few of the ways that I've been using these clamps. There's many more uses for clamps like this. And if you have a dovetail bait and you make your own jigs and fixtures, the uses for these clamps are basically endless. Personally, I really like the speed, ease, and convenience of using these ratchet style handles as opposed to the traditional clamp where you gotta crank that handle a bunch of times. So those ratcheting dovetail clamps are really cool, but let me show you what else they showed me. That's the real star of the show. But before I show you those new clamps they sent me, let me quickly show you the old way I had to use to accomplish the same thing. All right, let's say I wanted to secure something down to my workbench here, whether to route it or sand it or plane it or something like that. What I would do is I take one of these little bench dogs here, slide it in there, put the piece on, and then I have these bench dog clamps. As you can see, it's a little too long for my nearest bench dog here, so I would just spin this thing around a few times, check it again, need to go a couple more. I'm gonna go back one, and then do that to get it pretty close, as close as I could, and then holding the piece of wood in place, holding the clamp in place, I would tighten it up. Flip it, move the handle, flip it, move the handle, push the piece down, try to keep it as flat as I could, and then that secures it really good. I could route that, I could carve on it, I could sand it, and it's not going anywhere. But the whole process is very cumbersome, time-consuming, and pretty annoying, especially when I go from one piece to another size piece. So let's say I'm done working on this piece, and I want to work on this. So I just have to loosen this up, put it out, put this piece in, and as you can see, now my clamp is of course in the wrong position again. I'll give it some spins to make it longer, check it, a couple more. It's too far, go back one. There, it fits in there pretty good. Again, hold the piece, hold the clamp, and I'll show you what no problem I have with this. So let's get rid of this stuff and bring in the kit from Find Buy Tools. So this is what they sent me. It comes in a box, nice foam packaging. I've been using this, but I just kept it in the box because it keeps everything nice and neat and organized and protected. It comes with a user's manual that you really don't need. This stuff's pretty self-explanatory. It comes with 2 clamps, 2 bench dogs, and then these 4 knobs so you could attach all of these to an MFT table. So the face of the bench dog and the clamp have these grippy rubber pads on them. Just slide the bench dog in, slide your clamp in, push it up tight, move the handle. It cams over. That's nice and secure. It's not going anywhere. And if I wanted to swap to working on this larger piece, just undo that. Swap the pieces. Push it tight. Cam it over. And that's held solid. I could sand that, route it, carve it, whatever I wanted to do. Now let's say you had an MFT table and you wanted to do a repeatable operation on it. You have several identical small parts and you need to route a certain profile on the edge. Well, that's when you grab these knobs that come in the kit. You just put your bench dog in place and then you screw in from the bottom the knob. You want to leave that just a little bit loose for now. You put your clamp in place, slide it up, clamp your piece, and then secure the clamp with the other knob. With everything in place where you want it, you can tighten the knobs down all the way. Now when you loosen your clamp and you move your piece, your bench dog won't move, your clamp won't move, it stays right where you put it. So when you're finished with one piece, you move it out of the way, bring your next piece in, do your thing, move it out of the way, bring the next piece in. Very quick, very easy, super handy. So if you have a workbench with dog holes in it or an MFT table, I think having a clamping system like this is a must. In fact, I went ahead and I ordered a second set of these for myself. Last week I was working on a round piece of wood, and if I would have had 4 of these, or even just 3 to clamp it in multiple places, it would have made working on that piece of wood a lot easier. So I know I'm really going to like having 4 of these in the shop. But they have a couple different sizes of these, so pay attention when you're ordering them. I got mine in the 19mm size, which fit my 3/4 inch dog holes perfectly. So I want to thank findbytool.com for sponsoring this video and sending over these great tools. I've really enjoyed using them. Follow the links in the description to check them out. You might find something you like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.